Andrew Tate has changed his religious beliefs multiple times.
Because like I said, I'm an atheist. I do not believe that God put us here.
So I think I'm no longer an atheist, I'm now an Orthodox Christian. I am now officially a Muslim.
But there's one core belief that accounts for all of these changes. Tate's entire life could possibly be summed up by a focus on not being weak, which could be seen even in his earliest years. According to Tate, the doctor pinched my thigh to get a response and I growled, knitting my brow and trying to crane up my head to see who attacked me. The doctor paled, shocked at my defensive powers. I did not cry. Now, though he was joking, he wasn't joking when he said that he learned to defend himself soon after he learned how to walk. His dad made a game of gently pushing him on the chest in order to teach him balance, and this taught him the value of not becoming too vulnerable so that way he would always be able to protect himself. Being able to defend himself became a theme in Tate's life. Even at the age of 4, he won second place in the county wrestling championships for kindergartens, and in his preteen years, his mother enrolled him in self-defense classes, which ultimately resulted in Tate becoming a 4-time world champion kickboxer. Even from Tate's earliest years, he learned that the more capable that you are of protecting yourself, and the more power that you have, the harder it will be for people to hurt you. And these are beliefs that are still clearly a part of his worldview today.
I do not believe in things that take power away from me. Anybody you can emotionally control, anybody you can emotionally affect, you have them in your pocket. If she's with me only because of my competence and my money and my capability to bend the world and my power, and you're calling that gold digging, I call that genuine attraction. I actually truly believe that one of the secrets to my power is my brain power. I truly believe that I live in a state of constant war. I constantly am ready for combat. I pick up my sword. I am the commander of this house because I've emotionally controlled them all and upset them all. As the souls of humans evaporate in real time, I absorb them. They can sense their powers being stolen from them.
Being able to defend himself showed him that he didn't have to be weak and that others didn't have to have power over him. It was his non-conforming perspective of life that might have served as some of the motivation for him being an atheist, a title that he publicly claimed on several occasions.
Like I said, I'm an atheist. I do not believe that God put us here. We're not special. We're no different than any other animal here. It's actually difficult to prove gravity, let alone God, which doesn't exist. You can't prove something that isn't there.
Now, if you're enjoying this video so far, make sure to hit the like button because it really does help us with the YouTube algorithm. But even though he was an atheist, as time went on, it became noticeable that he started to think more and more about religion. His persistence in not being weak and not letting other people have power over him continued to be seen in his conversations about religion as well.
I walk into hell and the devil's like, oh, I'm gonna burn you. If I was gonna go to hell, I was gonna take over. So would it have been fun to be the king of hell?
He started talking about how Christianity is now a dead religion because Christians themselves don't take Christianity seriously enough. And of course, if Christians don't even take Christianity seriously, then Christianity could easily be dominated by other religions in power. Essentially, he saw Christianity as being a weak and dead religion.
Christianity has no power left. I think Christianity is a joke. I think it's a joke of a religion. Christianity used to keep the Western world in check, but the Christianity's become so weak it doesn't mean anything anymore.
Although he was still critical of religion, his fans started to notice that he seemed to be softening up his position on it. Even though he remained an atheist, his tone started to change as he appeared to start seeing religion as a good thing for people because it can still discipline in their lives, hence making them stronger.
I'm not really specific on what God people worship. I just think it's important that you take some time out of your life and dedicate it to the higher power. And I'm an absolute atheist, but I prefer to live in countries with strong Christian tradition because at least if you have your own religion and you're strongly, let's say Romania, which is Orthodox Christian. They resist being conquered by another religion purely on the religious grounds.
But in a rare change of mind, Tate shocked fans everywhere as he came out one day and said that he was no longer an atheist.
I'm going to correct myself. It's not very often I take back an opinion. I'm going to take back an opinion. How God is not real. And I sat there and I explained how God's not real and don't believe in God and I'm an atheist and blah, blah, blah.
He started to see atheists as weak and degenerate people who he had no desire to be like.
But I want to change teams because I'm looking at these atheists and they're all just dorks or just nerds. I sit and look at all the atheists who are doing all this dumb shit. I don't want to adopt their thinking either. If I see a bunch of atheists and see they're all godless, disgusting creatures, I don't want to be an atheist. I just look at them and go, no, sir, that's not my team.
But even more surprisingly, he didn't just abandon atheism, he claimed to have also converted to Orthodox Christianity. The reasons that he gave for converting varied, but perhaps one of the more predictable reasons that he gave was the fact that the Orthodox Church had a lot of power in Romania, where he was now living.
Like the Russian, Greek, Romanian church, they still don't play games. You can't play games here. You can't piss off the church. Everyone respects the church here. The Orthodox Christians will still mess you up.
But even though he took the church as having a lot of power, the teachings of Christianity are based on service to others as opposed to acquiring personal or collective power, which is something that Tate continued to stress as incredibly important to him.
You don't want to be rich. You want to be powerful. That's what really is going to satisfy you in your soul. It's the power. Power is the problem. You have to understand what you're really chasing. And I know for me, it'll never be enough because I know I'm chasing power.
Given the importance of power in Tate's life, it made sense that he would soon leave Christianity for a religion that he considered to be more powerful than Christianity. And that religion was Islam. Tate declared that he had converted to Islam in October of 2022, leaving the Christian faith that he had recently declared allegiance to.
So when I look at Christianity in its current form, I don't think that they can be right in terms of their interpretation of God, because if they were correct, God would give them the strength to defend themselves. And they don't. Islam very closely reflects my personal beliefs. Through my personal life, I've learned that if you don't have standards and you're not a strong person who's prepared to defend his ideas, you will be crushed. Most religions in the world today, which are not prepared to defend their ideas, what's happened to them? They're just getting crushed.
Now, given what Tate has said in the past, perhaps this wasn't too surprising. Even before converting to Islam, Tate made it clear that he respected Islam because Muslims would use power and force to prevent people from insulting Islam.
I have a massive respect for Islam because they have principles which they refuse to bend on.
If I had to bet on a religion the same way I'd bet on a company, bet on it going up or down, I'd have to bet on Islam. You can't with Islam. You insult their they go rioting. They'll kill you. They'll chop your head off.
But even though Tate sees violent reactions to an insult as a sign of power, I see it as a sign of weakness. Retaliating to an insult with another insult, or even violence, really is easy. It's not hard. Not retaliating to an insult takes a lot more strength and toughness than most people have. Now, if someone physically attacks you, and if you're like me at least, it takes far more strength not to seek revenge and try not to hurt them in return. And this is why I think that Tate is mistaken about Christianity. When we look to Christ, we see the most innocent person to ever live is met with insults and tortured to death by his enemies. Now, why this is so significant is because Jesus, being God himself, literally had the power of God at his disposal and could have easily used his power to destroy his enemies. But instead of retaliating and fighting back, which would have been the easier thing to do, he did the hardest thing possible in that moment, and that was praying for the forgiveness of those who were in the process of murdering him. So, although it appears that Tate's motivation in converting to atheism and Christianity and Islam all had something to do with power in some degree, it's my belief that if you have to use force and power and physically attack people because they've insulted your faith, it's only a sign that you're weak and you're insecure. Refusing to retaliate doesn't just show that you're secure in your beliefs, but in most cases, it also takes a lot more strength to do so. And by the way, this video is part of our What Do They Actually Believe series, so let us know down in the comments who you would like to see us cover next. And until next time, what do you mean?